closer look at ketamine. The drug is at the center of a new criminal case filed yesterday in federal court. It charges 5 people, including 2 doctors, with giving large doses of ketamine to actor Matthew Perry in the weeks before his death last year. The actor was well known for his role as Chandler Bing, of course, on the TV sitcom Friends, and for his long public struggle with addiction.
Police say Perry died face down in his hot tub from the acute effects of ketamine. Here to talk about it, Dr. Scott Hadland, who's the chief of adolescent medicine at Mass General for Children. Dr. Hadland, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's start with ketamine. It's not really a household name. What is it designed to do? What's its purpose?
Right. Yeah. No, this is a really tragic story, with somebody who was really talented, whose life ended early. And, ketamine is normally used as an anesthetic. It's a medication that causes someone to lose consciousness, causes people to dissociate from reality. It decreases pain. And so it's really only typically used for medical procedures as an anesthetic and not used, sort of outside of that setting. And unfortunately, what we know is that because of these same properties, people will sometimes use ketamine purchased on the illicit market as a way to get a high. So if you buy powder on the illicit market, for example, powdered ketamine can be either snorted or smoked. Liquid ketamine can be mixed into a drink, or in this case, which is what happened with Matthew Perry, it can be injected into the bloodstream. And unfortunately, ketamine is a medication that really carries with it a really high risk of overdose.
So allegedly doctors were involved here. We've learned from court documents Perry began using ketamine to treat anxiety and depression. Is that at all legal?
Right. So what's interesting about ketamine is I just finished saying that it's typically used for medical procedures as an anesthetic, but it actually has been studied in a new way in recent years where people who have what we call treatment-resistant depression, meaning that depression that just hasn't responded to other treatments that we would typically use, people can receive ketamine as a way to treat depression, but it's only ever done in a clinical setting, carefully monitored by a doctor who's watching your vital signs, often at much, much, much lower doses than Matthew Perry was receiving when he was being injected with it at his home. And again, done in this very sort of careful, methodical, studied way. And in fact, we know that Matthew Perry was also receiving this type of treatment in a clinical setting, but unfortunately, the ketamine that he was receiving at home through injections was at much, much higher doses.
Dr. Hadland, I want to ask you quickly about this EEE outbreak. We understand there has now been a human case here in the central part of the state in Worcester County. You are a parent, you've got kids. We can all remember that terrible outbreak of 2019 and 2020 when schools were putting curfews on after-school events. How concerned are you? We've got one case. It's the first human case, though, in 4 years. Does that worry you yet?
Gosh, yes. I think we need to be really on the lookout for this and make sure that we're doing okay here. We really need to make sure that parents are keeping an eye out and making sure that their kids are taking precautions to help protect them against mosquitoes. And I apologize here for what I can see are some technical issues.
We got
here.
you back. We can see you now. So yeah, it is a cause for concern, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. I think that we need to do what we can to keep kids indoors, especially during the hours between dusk and dawn when mosquitoes are most likely to bite. Do what we can to use mosquito repellents. DEET is safe to use in children. You can also use lemon eucalyptus as a way to prevent it. And we want to do what we can to keep children and everybody safe. This is just one case, yes, but EEE tends to happen in outbreaks. And as we saw several years ago when there was an outbreak, there are a number of cases that cluster together.
Yeah, and some can be fatal, a number actually.
Number
Dr. Scott Hadland, thank you so much.
Thank you.